What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we'll be taking a peek over here at the Bitcoin price chart and talking about the altcoin market. It's the day after a long holiday weekend where prices were anticipated to be volatile through the weekend due to low liquidity, due to banking holidays. And while we know what June brought with us in regards to exchanges, insolvencies, liquidations, hedge funds, Luna UST fallout, all that good stuff, trying to start July off on a better foot. We did start July 1st with Voyager announcing to temporarily suspend trading deposits withdrawals. But for the remainder of the weekend, things remained relatively calm over here in the cryptocurrency market, with really Saturday, Sunday, and Monday being pretty calm. Here we are starting the new week, or at least the new business week, having a red start to the day, but still just within ranging here. And this is the range that we've been stuck in since June 18th. So from a price perspective, not a whole lot changed with the cryptocurrency market, not a whole lot changed with Bitcoin. Looking at the 200-week moving average, we can still see that Bitcoin is still stuck underneath it, now closing 3 weeks under the 200-week moving average, with the altcoin market still staying above it and holding above it and the previous all-time high, and the total market cap of all of crypto still able to hold it as well. We'll zoom in on it really close so you can take a close look at it. Just barely able to keep itself above it, right there into the weekly close. So we're kind of starting our week off really where we ended last week off. Here we are 4 days later. We spent some time last week talking about the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and we'll see if that eventually continues to play out in the structure that GBTC has been forming and whether or not that's a crashing structure. It's what it sure looks like to me. And so to top off a lot of the contagion and things we've been dealing with in our own market that triggered things to get really excessive really fast, we also have the macro backdrop happening as well. And this morning, as we start up this new week, we can see that the US dollar currency index is breaking out into new highs. And the euro just took out the lows that were set back there in 2017. So this adds a whole nother element to concerns for the cryptocurrency market as well, seeing the strength over there in the dollar and the breakdown here in the euro. Barring just some reversal happening here in the DXY at their Fibonacci retracement levels, it's just moving in a rapid rate to the upside. We could put these fibs down in here, but whether or not this is going to work on the DXY index, I'm not sure. The thing that we know is that when we've seen the DXY fall in the past, this historically was good for the cryptocurrency market, but we can see that the DXY is moving and it's just in breakout mode at this point. With the euro also breaking down at the same time, those are concerns for strength of the dollar. So those are more positive things for dollars than for being in assets to gain value against dollars. When I look at these two things happening here for the DXY and the euro, that's a pretty strong argument for people flocking to the dollar, and that the dollar is getting stronger, which likely isn't a good thing for the US stock market. And based on history, the cryptocurrency market as well. So as we start out this new week, we do see, hey, the altcoin market cap is still holding in here. The total market cap of all of crypto bounced off of its previous 2018 all-time high and is still holding weekly candle closes above its 200-week moving average. But as we start off this new week, we have something pretty big, it looks like, happening here with this euro breaking down and the dollar breaking out. Whether or not those events in themselves are going to be catalysts for cryptocurrency markets to move down, I don't know. The thing that we just know from these charts is that when these were moving down, that is when the cryptocurrency market was rampaging. And right now, there are no signs happening in here saying that's what's coming right now without some type of strong reversal, which we're just not getting. And that was a pretty significant breakdown in there based on seeing this type of structure before and how it bounced out previously. So we did not get a bounce. We have now officially had a breakdown in the euro with a break upward with the DXY. So we kind of know where we're at as we head into this week. Pretty tame weekend for a holiday weekend. I'm telling you, there are people out there who are smarter than me that definitely had me a little bit on edge. When Danielle DiMartino Booth is saying, I'm going to be watching Bitcoin, I think we're going to see some massive action over there. That made me pretty nervous out there. She's a former advisor to the Fed, but fortunately for a holiday weekend, I stepped away. I had family over. We did just a ton of family stuff, swimming in pools, barbecuing. We did fireworks late last night. It was nice to kind of step away from it and not have a bunch of price action into a holiday weekend. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend themselves. But as we start out the week, we can see some things unraveling here right out the gates. And we know that the US stock market, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, these things are all at their 200-week moving averages on different time frames, right? This is a 22-year cycle happening in here for the NASDAQ. Well, this has been a 13-year rise since the great financial crisis. If we want to count the peak over here, it'd be about a 15-year rise here for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Both of those getting back to their 200-week moving averages at the same time, with what appears to be a DXY breakout and euro breakdown, and while crypto's at its 200-week moving average at the exact same time. So heading into this week, we'll see what the volatility brings to us. If we just go based off of DXY breakout, euro breakdown, the grayscale Bitcoin trust structure that we have in here, and kind of the overhanging things that we keep happening here in the cryptocurrency market, along with really kind of short-term structure that we've had here. You know, this is like the past month of crypto, that there's nothing really looking reversal-ish here, at least over here on Bitcoin, that we're just not out of the woods yet. And to see this happening over here on the US dollar currency index, like a breakout style move happening in the DXY, we'll see what that also means for the stock market as we head into this week as well. So macro perspective, we're seeing a lot of strength over here in the US dollar and a big breakdown over here on the Euro USD. So for part of my macro picture for things with like dollar strength, these were one of the things that I really wanted to see hold in order to have some type of optimism that we could at least find some type of reversaling action come at some point soon. This right here kind of paints a rough picture because the euro is such a strong contributor to the DXY metric, the US dollar currency index, which is a measure of 6 currencies versus the dollar, the euro being a very strong one. Euro today gets a breakdown this morning. So we start the week with a lot of dollar strength. And I'll be interested to see if that translates over here into the US stock market with weakness happening in the US stock market. So while we haven't seen much action to start the week out yet, and the weekend was pretty tame, I think the really big thing that we're seeing to start this week as we get this week moving is the fact that that is happening this morning. And will that also cause the US stock market indexes to go lose their 200-week moving averages? We lose the 200-week moving averages in here for the U.S. stock market. We start taking out these levels. Paints a real nasty macro picture too. And so, you know, lines in the sand, things getting broken one by one. We've seen them happen in the cryptocurrency market. Now we're starting to see them happen in the macro perspective as well. U.S. dollar getting into breakout is within retracement levels from its entire move down. So technically still within a retrace, but we've watched how this retracement has worked out in here. It has just kept going and going and going. And you can see it's even peaked through the 702. So fibs have been a hard thing to work over here on the DXY and picking out where it's going to reverse at this point. Now that this euro has just broken down in here, it's not something I'm really interested in speculating on. I would say this is painting a much stronger argument for US dollars, which we were starting to see some warnings of last week, looking over there at commodities like silver, seeing silver starting to crack below its 2-year low, along with platinum, and that commodities were breaking down as well, such as wheat, which is down even more to start today off, and corn. And we saw this over here happening over here with copper. So when it comes to Bitcoin, we stack all those different things together. Hard to find a bullish scenario here for Bitcoin. It seems all the elements are in favor of Bitcoin continuing to move down. On the short term, we're not looking at anything that's looking real reversal-ish over here on the short-term price action. On the bigger term price action, if we look at the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and the structure that it gives us, it says further down, we're looking at the DXY in breakout. We're looking at commodities and breakdowns. The things that are still really just kind of holding these markets together at this point, like for Bitcoin over here, back at the all-time high, but from back in 2018, which also goes for the altcoin market over here, which is still holding its 200-week moving average. But we could see a lot of those other elements stacking against it. And at the same time, the stock market indexes are still holding their 200-week moving averages, but those other elements are starting to show up as well in the macro perspective with dollar strength. So from my perspective, I'm not seeing a whole lot of arguments for a reversal to show up here on Bitcoin. And I think the big story of the week is going to be what happens over here with the US dollar currency index. So the last 2 weeks, we saw the 10-year US Treasury yield drop 17.5% total. It was 0.621%, going from 3.5% all the way back down to 2.88%. Which also that breakout that we saw there on the 10-year was a wick above the height that happened back in 2018. So it pulled back. It's got bearish divergences emerging here on these charts, especially as we're starting a new week. But that dollar just broke out strong. So I get a feeling that's going to be probably the story of the week. So calm weekend for the cryptocurrency market. Calm weekend for Bitcoin. Still closing weekly candle closes above the previous all-time high candle closes over here for Bitcoin, even this most recent one that we just got. But in our last 2 major moves that happened in the cryptocurrency market, we were seeing downward trajectory in the DXY. We just saw a pretty decent move happen for it here this morning. So we'll see if that translates here into crypto. And we'll see if we can get kind of a calmer month as we start off the month in regards to all the contagion that happened in June. May was just like Luna and UST. Who's going to be the fallout? Who's going to be the casualties from that? June became Celsius, 3 Arrows Capital, Voyager Digital, BlockFi, and many more I'm sure that we have not heard of. And like I showed last week, the CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, had warned there's other exchanges out there that are likely insolvent that you just don't know about. The big thing out there is about getting your coins off of exchanges, getting your crypto off of exchanges during this moment. But hopefully that aspect of our market can start to kind of calm down heading into July. But we still just don't know. That is an unknown hanging here just within our market in itself. So we have all the macro stuff, and then we also have the fallout all happening here within the market, whether or not our market is stable at the same time. And that's an unknown. And I don't believe we looked at USDT's peg last week either to see that the USDT peg still isn't restored back in here. And the USDT supply is still dropping. Now down about $17 billion in market cap, with USDC coin or USDC only $10 billion behind Tether at this point, as the supply of USDC has been rising and up $7.4 billion. So that still hangs there as well. So we'll start off this new week. There does seem to be some stuff happening here in markets as we do start off this week after having an actual tame holiday weekend. And my speculation and guess is that some type of story is being told here with this DXY, and we'll just have to see what the week has in store for us here. But mixing all those things together doesn't really paint a whole lot of arguments for upward price action to be happening this week. If anything, it's going to be kind of a, whoa, watch out. Where's this thing going? The thing for Bitcoin is that when you look back at 2014, you look back at 2018, when you get these types of big moves down, like Bitcoin's down, has poked as low as 74% down from its all-time high here in 2022. In 2018 and in 2014, it did pull down 70%, but afterwards it came in with a really big bounce before then rolling over again. We haven't gotten any type of bounce and rollover to happen again here in Bitcoin. So it's definitely trying to be kind of creative to come up with, well, theoretically, what are the other options that are happening here? Is this really just your 4-year cycle? Or is there something bigger at play happening here in Bitcoin? That's really the big puzzle being put together right now. So fact is, you got the stock market at the 200-week moving average. You got the altcoin market at the 200-week moving average. You got Bitcoin that has fallen 74% with no bounce. All those things leave you to wonder, is a bounce coming here in the market? But at the same time, we've got the DXY now breaking out, and Bitcoin is below its 200-week moving average. So those are some things that I'm concerned about and speculating of concern about. But we'll see how this week goes. It'll be a shorter week this week, but it's definitely going to be an interesting start here, seeing the DXY start just like that. So, all right, guys, that'll be it for this one. Calm weekend, interesting start to the new week, and the markets are going to open here pretty soon. So, all right, that'll be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.